Starting with a pitcher over 8K that you want in your lineup. So Matt, Corbin Burns is the priciest guy at 10K, but he's facing some hot San Francisco bats. So you want to look elsewhere, maybe save some cash with a guy who's still over 8K?
I think so. Yeah, that probably is where I'm looking. And honestly, I think this is another slate to maybe look below that 8K benchmark and play some cheaper pitchers. But if I'm paying up, I think Adam Wainwright is my favorite of these expensive pitchers because Corbin Burns is just going to get a lot of ownership. And it probably is somewhat justified. He is the best pitcher on the slate, I think, by a significant margin, but he's facing a Giants lineup that is pretty good and also just got a lot healthier. Brandon Belt returned to the lineup yesterday. Tommy La Stella returned a couple days ago. He's not the best hitter, but he's a guy who doesn't strike out that much, and he's batting from the left side of the plate. So platoon advantage against Burns. It's mostly that the Giants just aren't a lineup that figures to be a strikeout heavy lineup. Buster Posey doesn't strike out a lot. Chris Bryant's on the team now. La Stella's not a big strikeout guy. Lamont Wade doesn't strike out much. So I just don't think the strikeout median is really there. There's still upside because it's Corbin Burns and he could have a big strikeout game anywhere. But Wainwright is facing the Royals, who just traded Jorge Soler. Andrew Benintendi has been dealing with an injury, and they're moving from the American League to a National League game where they have to have the pitcher bat. Maybe Sal Perez gets the night off. I think that would be a huge bonus for Wainwright because they don't have a DH available. So the matchup is just really good, and I think the ownership will be a lot lower than both Burns and Chris Bassett.
Paul, you think Burns is going to have a lot of ownership? Is it a little too chalky for you? So you want to look elsewhere?
I agree, and I love the call on Wainwright. These matchups where AL teams forego the DH and as visitors is a real disadvantage for them as they go to NL parks, removing that productive bat, and it just messes with their strategy that they employ for over 150 of the other games in the year. Aside from that, Wainwright has been rock solid in his last 10 outings, posting a 5-1 mark, backed by 51 strikeouts in 53 innings, only 43 hits along the way there, a whip of 106. That's amazing numbers across the board. And he faces the second worst offense in the AL tonight. Also on my mind are two other guys. Kyle Muller of the Braves has impressed me in his 7 appearances so far, limiting all comers. The total of only 19 hits allowed in 29 and 2/3 inning pitched, along with 33 strikeouts and only 1 homer. So he'll only cost $9,200, and I think they might stretch him out. He might go beyond his usual 5 innings per start tonight. I also finally like the Rays' Kyle Yarbrough I think it's a chalky matchup myself against the lowly Orioles. He's only $8,100 and might be the most attractive pitcher on the slate for me, averaging almost 6 innings per start in his last 10 appearances, limiting opponents to that 1.16 whip, and enjoying a decided edge in head-to-head action against the current O's batters over their careers with a 260 on-base percentage allowed in 113 at-bats.